I believe people are going to feel the fact that someone is brave enough to say something. Every day I do 5 things that people have been historically killed for. Every day. And it's just, I want to prove, first of all, I am Jew also. The 12 lost tribes of Hebrew. Do the math. Do your research on it. We have got our culture ripped from us and then told we were just simply void of color, which is enough.
Alright, so I'm going to add a little commentary when it's necessary. So, let's try to focus on the message and not so much the messenger, because I know some people may not like Kanye or may not agree with a lot of the things he says or does. And of course I don't agree with everything he says or does either, but what he's saying right here is the truth. The so-called black Americans are from the 12 tribes of Israel, and we are from the tribe of Judah, and that's the truth.
Not the definition for black. But if we knew we were a culture and knew we were a people, the way the Jewish people know, then we wouldn't abort ourselves. We wouldn't shoot each other dead in the streets and then rap about it. We wouldn't brag about, having sex with each other's wives. We would keep our families together and we would do business together. The most dangerous place for a black person in America is actually in our mother's stomachs, because 50% of black deaths a year in America is abortion currently. I mean, I can keep going, but I want to make it, hey, boom.
Let's be real. What he said right there was on point. I mean, our people are out of control. As far as the violence, killing each other. The abortion is a major problem. I mean, rap music in general has pretty much helped to destroy our people. And he's been a part of that as well. But, the Most High can use whoever he chooses to use. And just because Kanye may have done certain things or, been a part of the industry doesn't mean what he's saying right here isn't true. And it doesn't mean that it can't be used to help our people wake up to who we really are.
And my dad, called me and said, the thing that the left fear about Ye or makes me the most dangerous is I'm rich. And that's the point. Tupac told me back in the days, you had to get your money right and then you go to war. So I'm going to war. I don't have endless resources. I only have maybe, honestly, only maybe $120 million in my account. But
alright, so I wanted to stop it right here. And I can care less what another man has in his bank account. That's his business. But he brought it up. So it just goes to show that because he was worth $1 billion on paper, at least $1 billion on paper at this time. But he said he only has 120 million in his account, and most of us know there is a difference between somebody's net worth and what they actually have in their account. But my point is that a lot of times Hollywood and the different media sites will put these huge numbers out that they may say that these celebrities have, but in actuality they don't have that. It's just all paper and digital, but they don't actually have that in their account. And it also goes to show, because most of us know that they already took pretty much half of that as far as what he was perceived to be worth. So it goes to show that when you're in this industry, they can pretty much take your resources whenever they feel like it. So I mean, you're in their industry, and most of them, they sold their soul to the devil, and anything you got from the devil, he can take. And especially if you break the oath and you speaking out, if you're sincerely trying to follow the Most High, you're gonna have to lose those riches that you have anyway. But I mean, it's nice that he was honest about it, and of course $120 million is still a lot of money. But it just goes to show a lot of times the media, well, most of the time, they make things seem a different way than what they really are.
If you want to challenge that and you don't believe it, that's entirely your right.
I have a question. Who do you think are the biggest vile white racist? The media.
You think the media is racist?
What? Please.
Yo, you see how Kanye had to give him that look, man? Because it's like these people be trying to play dumb. It's no secret that the media has pretty much destroyed the image of the black man and woman over, you know, our time of being in this country. You know, they have portrayed us as the worst of the worst. So let's not sit here and pretend like the media has not been against our people.
My problem with what you've said, I'll be straight with you, is that if I, as a white man, posted tomorrow on my Instagram, I'm a bit sleepy tonight, but when I wake up, I'm going DEFCON 3 on black people, what would you think?
Jew.
No, if I said black people, what would you think? If that was what I posted.
Well, did you accept that black people? You accepted that black people are Jew, or
No, I'll come to that in a moment. On the specific though, if I simply said, in other words, all black people was the implication of what I said, I would get rightly cancelled. I would get.
Now you see how Kanye tried to correct him into having him say who we truly are as a people, and he said he was going to come back to that point. But I watched the whole interview, and of course he never came back to that point. And we should not expect the other nations or other groups of people to admit who we are. It's up to us to understand the Bible for ourselves and to seek the Most High and to seek Christ and to understand who we really are. We can't rely on the validation of others, and it doesn't matter what people think or what they say. At the end of the day, the Most High is gonna correct everything, and people are gonna have no choice but to admit who we are.
Pain yet? You haven't felt my pain. You don't want to feel my pain. You don't hold You don't hold accountability to my pain. You're being a Karen.
I'm talking about. I'm not a Karen
to the pain.
I'm not a Karen, and I'm not going to cancel you, and I'm not going to uncensor you. I'm simply going to challenge you on what you're saying. I think you don't understand the pain that you've been causing with some of these comments, and I think that one in particular, I can understand.
Oh my God. God forbid, one comment could cause people to feel any of the pain that my people have went through for years. Even
Kanye made some good points here, and the truth is, nobody is able to feel our pain. No other race or group of people can go through what we went through and still be here today. So I mean, you can't expect people to understand it. And also, I understand what he's saying. It's like our ancestors were mistreated and put in a brutal slavery for 400 plus years, and of course we still get mistreated. I mean, it's never stopped since we've been in this country. And pretty much if you bring it up to somebody, it's like, get over it, it wasn't our fault, or that was our ancestors. You hear all type of excuses when we bring it up to other nations. But if you have a tweet about a certain group of people or have an opinion, it's like, it's like such a big deal. But so you can just see the hypocrisy in that. And we shouldn't expect people to care, but at the end of the day, we shouldn't expect people to care, but we have to care about what we say. So it's like, it's just hypocrisy.
Like the blacks being ushered to the left during the civil rights movement. No one has cared about black people.
All right.
No one is.
Let me say, I agree that the racism against black people has been utterly deplorable, shameful, unacceptable, and thank God the world is beginning to move to a better place about the way.
Hold up, the world is getting moved to a better place. What's he talking about? Cause ain't nothing got better for us in this country. The beautiful thing is our people are starting to wake up, and that's what's starting to terrify the world. But of course we're not in a brutal slavery like our ancestors once were, but we're still mistreated. Our people still get killed for being black. And I know police brutality is a big deal, but I know it's not the biggest deal because we do have our own problems as far as killing each other. But let's not act like this is not a racist society, and let's not act like everything is not set up against the black man and woman and child, because it is. So for him to say things are getting better, that's what I'm talking about right there. Just dismissive, and that's what Kanye is talking about. Like, it's foolishness.
It has treated black people like you. However,
and on another note, just about this Kyrie thing that recently happened. I don't know if it was a few days ago or last week, but he put that. I think he put something up on one of his social media platforms about a documentary called Hebrew to Negroes. I haven't seen the documentary, so I don't want to speak out of turn. But from my understanding and from the preview that I've seen, it basically is just telling how black people are the real people of the Bible. We're the chosen people of the Bible. And then, he gets in trouble. Kyrie, I'm talking about, gets in trouble for, I believe all he did was like the documentary. And they're calling him anti-Semitic, even though we are the original people of the Bible. So you see the hypocrisy and the evil games that they play. And if I'm not mistaken, I seen the press conference when they were pretty much pressing Kyrie about the issue. But it's like, I don't want to get too deep into that because this ain't about Kyrie, but the hypocrisy that we see on a daily basis is just crazy to me. But all the prophecies in the Bible will come to pass, so we are waking up, and God's people are going to be on top at the end of the day. And a lot of these nations are starting to see more and more of our people waking up, and it's terrifying them, and that's the truth.
However, one form of racism doesn't
it's
justify.
Almost in a better place.
Well,
but
one form of racism doesn't justify another.
It's not a better place.
I'm not cutting you off. I'm finishing my sentence. So you can respond. One form of racism.
It's not racism.
It is.
All right, so I'm gonna leave it there for this clip. But black people know. We know. I mean, we're not black, but so-called black people. We know that this country has not been a better place for us. So these people can tell themselves what they want to make themselves feel better, but we know what it is. And at the end of the day, our people are waking up, and it's something that is not going to be able to be stopped because it's something that is prophecy, and it's something that the Most High said is going to come to pass. So that's just what it is.
Grow if you choose to grow this way, and you can ignore me. You can ignore me.
Piers, how much money are you worth?
Not as much as you, sadly.
Exactly. So take my advice. Maybe you'll get richer.
I would love to take your business advice.
Why would I listen to you?
Well, why do you hear what my advice is and then work out if I'm wrong? Can we?
All right. So we see here, Kanye is talking about money, and again, I could care less what a man has in his bank account, but you see, again, Kanye was worth $1 billion at least on paper when he made these statements, but you see how quick they were able to take some of his resources, and who knows, they could end up taking everything. That's usually what happens when you speak the truth, but we'll see. But my point also is, the scriptures tell us, do not trust in riches. I mean, there's nothing wrong with having wealth and having nice things as long as you do not do anything evil to get those things. As long as you're putting God first and doing what you're supposed to do. But all money is not good money. I mean, most of us know that. But it just goes to show, again, he was worth at least $1 billion on paper when he made this statement, but just within a week or so, they reduced them, to at least half. So we'll see what happens, but again, that's why we should never ever trust in riches.
No, I'm not. first of all, I can't. What is the beginning? Read the whole tweet. I'm sure you have it in front of it. Somebody in your office has it. Get him a coffee and a yay tweet.
What do you want to know? The whole tweet?
I want you to read it out loud, sir.
I'm a bit sleepy tonight, but when I wake up, I'm going DEFCON 3 on Jewish people. The funny thing is, I actually can't be anti-Semitic because black people are actually Jew. Also, you guys have toyed with me and tried to blackball anyone who opposes your agenda. That was the exact tweet.
Alright, so yeah, he could have worded the beginning a little better. And of course, I don't support any anti-Semitic speech, but what he said was accurate. We are the actual people of the Bible, so we cannot be anti-Semitic. So we live in a strange land. I mean, we live in a evil world. Everything is upside down. So the actual people of the Bible are getting in trouble for talking about a group of people who are saying they're from the Bible, but they're not actually of the Bible. And when he said if you speak out against them, you get blackballed, that was accurate as well. We've seen it time and time again over the years, whether it's people losing their money or people getting sacrificed or people getting lies put on their name throughout the media. If you speak against a certain group of people, that's what's been happening for the past, 50, 60, 70 years, however long, but what he's saying is accurate. And black people cannot be racist. We don't have any power to be racist. We can be prejudiced, but we cannot be racist. So all this stuff is pretty much, it's just foolishness.
I like reading that whole thing. I can't be anti-Semite. I love Jewish people. I work with Jewish people. Yo, watch this. Some of my best friends are Jewish.
Right. So you know how that sounds.
How many times have you heard that statement?
Of course. Of course.
Wait. Have we ever heard that term before? But the funny thing is, they are. I work with Dove Charney.
Yo, Kanye was in his bag on this one. He had me rolling pretty much the whole interview. If you haven't got a chance to watch the whole thing, try to check it out. You get a little bit of extra time. But I'm going to read this verse real quick. This is Revelation chapter 2, verse 9. And I'm going to leave it on the screen as well. And it goes, I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan.
Top power position.
Okay.
That's the top power position where you get all the rocks thrown. And
Okay.
that's the thing. I have friends, right, that will actually that's the reason why I'm going to be a good leader someday, because I'm really empathetic. But
Alright, so I wanted to stop him right there because that's one of the major problems that we have in our communities. A lot of us, I shouldn't say a lot, but some of us look to these celebrities as if they're leaders, and most of these people can barely lead themselves and lead their own households. They're not leaders of our community. The majority of these celebrities have sold their soul and even admitted to it. So what can they teach us? They can't teach us anything. Or they can teach us what not to do, but they are not leaders. And even though, they do promote themselves as that, that's something that we have to start rejecting as a people, because they will lead you to destruction. That's all they'll do. And as a man, you shouldn't be looking to any man for leadership anyway. I mean, all we have to do, especially as black men, is put God first, follow Christ, start reading and studying the scriptures the best we can, fast and pray, and everything else will take care of itself from there. But we should be focusing on leading our wives and children. I mean, every man should be focusing on that, but we should not be looking for another leader or thinking that there's going to be somebody who's going to come and pretty much save our community and do all these great things. I mean, Christ already came and he did what he was supposed to do, of course. He did everything perfectly, and he came and lived perfectly and died for our sins and rose from the dead 3 days later, and he still lives for eternity, of course. But there's not going to be a leader that's going to come save us. So, I mean, I just hope as a people we get that out of our head, because that's something that we've kind of always been struggling with. And that pretty much goes back to even the civil rights days. But and there were some great men back then. I'm not saying that there weren't, but these people today, these athletes, entertainers, they're not here to help us at all.
We'll also say everything happens for a reason, because if it had been perfectly worded in English, and because there's nothing whiter than English itself, right? I'm already not speaking in my mother tongue, right? So
Alright, so he made a good point here, because it's no secret that English is not our original language. They pretty much beat the Hebrew out of our ancestors when they brought them to this country. And English is definitely very confusing. I mean, there's words that have the same spelling and they sound the same, but they have different meanings. So it's definitely a very confusing language. So it's no shame, you know, if some of our people struggle with reading or writing or speaking the language properly, because again, it's not our original language. But I mean, we do live in this country, even though it's a strange land. You know, this is where we're at. This is, you know, part of our punishment that was prophesied many years ago, you know, in the Bible, that we would be here. So we should still do the best we can. It doesn't give us an excuse not to try to speak English properly and try to, you know, work on reading and writing. And, you know, of course, a lot of black people have no problems with it, but there are some of our people who do. And, again, there's no shame in it.
Okay, but why would any of that? Why would any of that?
Hey, bro, I ain't finished my sentence.
Nothing you're saying has anything to do with regret.
Hey, boy.
Don't call me boy.
Don't finish. I told you. Oh, don't treat me like a boy then. I'm going to finish my sentence of my idea.
Nothing you're saying has got anything to do with the tweet.
Cool. Bro, I was in the middle of a sentence, boy. Okay, so are you going to allow me to finish my sentence?
Yes.
Alright, so right here is when Kanye was out of line. As black men, we cannot afford to be emotional. And, you know, to let somebody get you out of character. And we can't afford to be disrespectful either, because, you know, that can be life or death. So, I mean, he lost some of his composure right here. And I know some people might be like, well, that's just how Kanye is. But, nah, he's proven he can be very articulate, which he was throughout most of the interview. But, you know, right there, he lost some of his composure, and that's something we cannot afford to do as black men. And, you know, I understand we all have emotions, you know, but we cannot afford to be emotional as black men. That's one of the main problems we've had throughout the years. And you can see the host, he didn't lose his composure, even though Kanye was saying certain things to try to get him to get out of character. And, you know, this is the first time I've seen this guy, Piers Morgan. But, I mean, they had a good interview, and, you know, he could be a decent person. I don't know him. And, you know, I'm not against any other races or nations of people. You know, I'm just stating the facts about our people and about who we truly are. But there are quote unquote good people in other races, you know, but as a whole, you know, the world is against us, and the system in America is against our people, and that's no secret.
Do you think that we can move forward as a civilization without there being any offense? Because one person's truth can be the other person's lie.
I think.
So yeah, he made a good point there, and I'm gonna read Luke chapter 12 verse 51. This is Christ speaking, and it goes, "Suppose ye that I am come to give peace on earth. I tell you nay, but rather division. So, from the beginning of time, the truth does separate. It causes division. And the reality is, especially, if you've been speaking the truth to people, or if you live on this, the longer you live on this earth, you'll see more and more that most people hate the truth. And most people don't want to hear it, no matter how kind you may put it, or, no matter what, really, most people do not want to hear it. So he makes a good point that, it's going to cause offense. People will be offended. Now, again, I'm not saying everything he said is correct. I'm not agreeing with any of his so-called anti-Semitic statements, but the truth in general does cause division.
Trying to do, and the point you were trying to make, I completely understand it, because you've explained it in more detail. On Elon Musk, there is a suggestion that when he gets control of Twitter, which seems likely now, that he will bring you back, he'll bring Donald Trump back. Do you think that would be right?
It'll be lit.
Do you think it's wrong that you and Trump have been banned from these platforms?
Absolutely. I was talking to Trump a couple days ago, and he was like, I'm not going to do his voice, right? But he was saying, I had 277 million followers, and the next day I had nothing. And that related to, Mark Zuckerberg, Meta. Mark Zuckerberg thinks he is the government. These tech companies feel they're more powerful than the U.S. government, to the point of actually kicking the actual president of the United States off of an American social media platform. This is the world we live in.
And I would say, I agree with you, and I'll tell you.
Alright, so I wanted to talk about this real quick, because the censorship that's been happening is very serious. And like he was saying, basically, if the president of the United States can get kicked off these platforms, that means any of us can. And, I've seen throughout the years, just like a lot of us probably have people on YouTube that have been known for speaking the truth. They get strikes or eventually get their channels taken. And they're pretty much just setting the stage, for that day that nobody will be able to speak the truth on the internet, and that day will come. I don't know when, but when the Antichrist and all the evil is pretty much unleashed on the earth, you're not gonna be able to find the word of God. And that's a verse that I'm gonna read. That's Amos chapter 8, verses 11 and 12. And it goes, "Behold, the days come, saith the Lord God, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the word of the Lord." Hearing the words of the Lord. "And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of the Lord, and shall not find it." So yeah, this is biblical prophecy, and they've been setting the stage for a while with, like I said, with the strikes and certain things that they do, certain words you can't say on certain platforms, and now they're just completely taking people off of these platforms. So they're definitely setting the stage, and I do believe we're getting closer and closer to the end. And I just hope it's something we all keep in mind. So we definitely want to make sure, we're doing our best to seek the Most High now, and His Son, of course, because the word needs to be in our hearts. So if and when we are here during those times where you can't speak any truth on the internet, or they're coming in your homes to get your Bibles or get our Bibles, the word has to be in our heart, so that there's nothing that anybody can do to stop your belief system, or to pretty much starve you from the word, because you've been studying the word for years at that point. So at the end of the day, that's pretty much what's most important, is that we're following the word now, so that if and when we are here, when those times come, that we are prepared spiritually.
Kim, by others. Where are things now with your family? What is your relationship like with Kim, with your kids?
Kim has Zionist media handlers surrounding her, all in and out her Hulu TV show, all in and out her family, all in or out the house that I created for my family. But
So we see here, Kanye is someone who's been in the industry for a long time, and it's something we pretty much already knew anyway for the most of us. But he says that Kim has handlers, which he said himself, I believe, on the Drink Champs interview, that he had handlers around him that he was trying to get away from. But a lot of these people in the industry, they have handlers. They're under mind control. Their lives are really not their own, after you sell your soul. So a lot of things are being exposed because we're in the end times. But again, he's been in the industry for a long time, so he knows pretty much what's going on.
But God is alive, the devil is a defeated foe, and Kim is a Christian woman, and she's not here just to have content up on adult channels. She's not here just to have that last Interview magazine cover. If you look at the two Interview magazine covers, look at the one when I was there and look at the one when I'm not there. And that's the reason why this Tuskegee experiment of such that's happened to the black community, where they took the fathers out of the home and the leaders out of the community and have torn apart the community. Now they've seen that's worked, and they're doing that to America. They're attempting, they're trying.
I mean, that
It's not gonna work on our dime,
the
though,
interview
because
magazine cover you're talking about, I think, is the one where she was basically semi-naked in front of the American flag, and I thought that was pretty distasteful, actually. It was about the American dream, and I thought, well, if that's the American dream, we're all screwed. I mean, in America.
And I agree with that, and I didn't feel the platform to voice my opinion because I wanna. It's always like, hey, this is your kid's mother. This your.
So yeah, he made some good points about how there's been an effort for many years to take the black man out the home, and again, the reason for that is because the black man is the most powerful man on earth, spiritually, physically, and mentally. It's just that we have to be following God and following Christ and following the law, statutes, and commandments in order for us to be in, the position that we're supposed to be in. But if we're out of order, our communities are going to be out of order if the man's out of order. But at the end of the day, he chose to marry Kim. He knew what Kim was before he got with her, and he shouldn't be surprised. So there's plenty of good women out there that he could have chose, but he chose the opposite of a good woman, and now she's doing things that are out of his control, and those are some of the consequences when you make bad decisions. That's why we got to take our time and really take your time to try to understand any woman that you're dealing with.
Watch this. God, when I got married, I bought this house. I I did this tour and spent all the money I had on this house to surprise Kim and give her this house that she wanted, that Lisa Marie Presley used to own. And then I got the house, and then I put all this money into renovation. And then there goes the neighborhood. Drake moves down the street 5 blocks, and that's when I knew God was funny. But watch this.
Yeah, so it's still hard to wrap my mind around the fact that he went all out like this for a woman like Kim Kardashian. And the Bible warns us time and time again about these type of women. She's definitely a strange woman. And some of you guys probably already do read Proverbs, but it has 31 chapters in it. And it would be good if you could read at least one chapter a day if you don't already, because it'll definitely give you more insight on the type of women that we should deal with and on the type of women that we need to stay away from. And from what he's saying, it definitely does seem like he wanted to be a good husband. Of course, I don't know how their relationship really was, but again, he chose the wrong woman, so he needs to take accountability for his actions. And it's unfortunate he's suffering the consequences now, and a lot of that has to do with him not being able to see his children the way he wants to and be able to make decisions about his children the way he wants to. And it seems like, of course, that he does care and love about he does love and care about his kids, and he wants to be there, but they're playing games with him, Kim and that family. So again, that's a part of the decision he made, though. So we have to be accountable as men for the things we do. And the whole situation with Drake moving 5 blocks down, recently after him and Kim moved in that neighborhood is pretty strange to me. I mean, of course, Drake seems like a dude you could never ever trust anyway. And I don't know when him and Kanye started beefing, but there's always been rumors that Drake and Kim were messing around, and then recently, I think it was on the Drink Champs, Kanye said that Drake slept with Kim's mom, and then I seen I think it was a clip where him and Future had some unreleased song where Drake was saying that Kylie Jenner was his side piece or whatever. But it's just weird because it just goes to show the type of game, the mind games they've been playing with Kanye for so long. And that family, the Kardashians, is deep into the occult and deep into witchcraft, and so is Drake. And everything I'm saying, I mean, this is speculation, but it's pretty much common knowledge that these people are into the occult. But it just goes to show who knows how long they've been playing mind games with Kanye and what type of mind control and sorcery that he's been subject to. But again, he's made his own decisions. He's done a lot of blasphemy. He's done a lot of things that he needs to repent for, but that's between him and the Most High.
Let me ask you.
There's a lot. Yeah.
But are you sad that you're getting divorced? Are you sad the relationship came to an end?
That happened 2 years. We got the divorce 2 years.
Yeah.
We're
Are you actually?
We've been got divorced.
Yeah. I mean, let me rephrase that. Are you sad that you're no longer together? That you're divorced?
We'll always be together. She dresses exactly like me. What do you mean? Like my kids are me. There's no...
Alright, so here we see some of the simp starting to come out of Kanye. But you can see the guy continues to ask him about Kim over and over and over. And it's clearly some type of trigger point, because his emotions pretty much change every time that he's asked about Kim. If you go back and look at every time that Piers continues to ask him. So maybe that's a part of some type of mind control that's been done to him, or some type of witchcraft or sorcery, but it's definitely some type of trigger point. And I mean, I get it. They have children together, so they're gonna have some type of connection, but the way he's talking about her is unhealthy, because she's clearly moved on and she's openly disrespected him, and she's been playing games as far as him seeing his kids and things of that nature, so he needs to move on with his life.
Take the fathers and the leaders out of the homes. And if we keep on allowing this to happen, and we don't have some level of a decency clause inside of our media on what everyone sees. Like when I was young and I would go to the video store, if I wanted to go into the adult section, it was a curtain, it was a person sitting there watching, making sure that kids didn't go in. If the kids went into that section, there was a video camera, and they would have you be escorted out of that section. Now that section is forced through TikTok. That section is subverted and kind of mixed with the drink inside of music directed at children, inside of content through Disney, on Hulu, which is Disney also, and in so many branded commercials to confuse children and to sexualize our children way too early
Yeah, can I
before
just-
they can even make their own decisions
Can-
about
yeah,
their life.
Look, you make some very interesting points again. Just to clarify one thing, though, you are actually divorced, are you? Because my understanding was that you weren't actually divorced yet.
All right, so we see there he made some great points about how Disney and the music industry and these different corporations are targeting children, and you see how the guy completely ignored that and went on to the next subject. But what he said was very accurate. Our children are definitely under heavy spiritual attack. So I mean, as black men, you know, it's our job to be there and guide them and lead them into the ways of righteousness, you know, which means putting the Most High and Christ first, and doing our best to teach our children the Bible, teach them the Word, teach them right from wrong. This is just my advice, but I definitely would not recommend any children being in public school. I mean, the things that are going on these days, it's just evil is at an all-time high. If you can arrange it to where you can have your children homeschooled, that would be the best option in my opinion. But again, our children are under heavy spiritual attack, and I think towards the end what he was saying is also, yeah, like they try to sexualize these children as early as possible, and we all know Kim has had a lot to do with that. There's been, you know, many young children who have grown up watching Kim and women like Kim and Nicki Minaj and Cardi B. I mean, these women are all whores, and that energy is just it's very strong in the world, you know, in general, but in America as well. But in the entire world, that spirit is very rampant. But America seems to just be completely out of control. Because I mean, there are some countries who somewhat, you know, still have their women in order, but I mean, this is Babylon. So, like I said, we're in the strange land, the land of our captivity.
This is past what I'm saying about having the heads of the football teams and the basketball teams and the music industry opening up their contracts the way I do, right?
All right, so he keeps mentioning throughout this interview about the different contracts of the NBA and the NFL and different contracts in the music industry. And we know throughout history there has been a lot of our people who have got bad deals and signed bad contracts and ended up with little to no money, you know, pretty much when they retired or whatever. But again, we're strangers in this land, and there's not going to come a time where we have more money than the owners of the company. That's just not reality. And let's be real, there is plenty of our people who are very rich and wealthy and who have signed good contracts. So this whole thing, he keeps talking about these contracts and reviewing all the contracts. I'm pretty sure he knows that's not going to happen.
I picture the most influential woman on the planet, which is Kim Kardashian, right?
Alright, so I'm not sure about Kim being the most influential woman on the planet. She may be in that top 5 discussion though, which is very sad. That's a shame. That goes to show how low we've gotten as a society, because talking about a woman who, as far as I know, has no real talent, and she pretty much, her and her family promoted whoredom since they've been on the scene, and, you know, witchcraft and dark magic and things of that nature. And again, everything I'm saying is speculation, but it's pretty much a well-known fact of the things that family is into. So it's very sad that she's one of the most influential women in America and maybe on the planet.
And I got this one thing I want to definitely say in the interview. Picture the most influential person on the planet, the most influential woman on the planet, performing in public only for that audience of one, for God. Imagine the overwhelmingly positive effect that will have on the planet.
Okay, so I'm going to stop him right there because he's talking a little too crazy. Like I said, I don't know what type of mind control or programming or spells they got him under, as far as in his mind he thinks Kim is, some godly woman who follows the Most High and who is an example to other women. Of course, we all know that is very far from the truth, and it just goes to show that he definitely is delusional in certain areas of his mind and his way of thinking. And again, it's unfortunate that he's in this situation, but he made these choices, and as men we have to be accountable for the decisions we make.
Apple product. So I call this guy, and we're working on finishing up elements of the deal, and he's using emotional bullying, and like his shoulders are down, you could tell on the call. And he says, well, because of your comments, we're not going to be able to hire people. It's the people that we need. And I said, well, how many people do we have working for us? He said 60, and we have 40 part-time. I said, well, how many Jewish people do we have? He said, well, I don't know. We have some. And I said, well, do we have black people working for us? He said, yeah. I said, how many? He said, 2. And I said, you're telling me we can't find 60 black engineers? Well, yeah. And see, that's where that comment that got me into so much trouble forced me to look at myself as the richest black man since Mansa Musa, right? With multiple tech companies. And where am I kicking the tires inside of my own company to ensure that I'm hiring my people? Because Chinese people hire Chinese people, and Jewish people hire Jewish people, and Catholics hire Catholics, right? But with blacks, we'll give our company to Bernard Arnault. We'll give our company to Mark Zuckerberg. We'll give our company away. And
yeah, so it's no secret that pretty much the other nations and groups of people know how to stick together as far as business and as far as other things are concerned. But as far as our people, it's very hard for us to support each other as far as business or as far as just doing anything positive. For the most part, a lot of our people gravitate towards the negativity quicker than the positivity. So, and of course, that's not all of our people, but it's usually way easier to find a group of black people doing something negative than it is positive, and that's not our natural state. It's just that, again, we've lost our way. For the most part, we're not following the Most High and Christ, and we're not following the commandments. So everything is out of order with us. But again, the Most High will restore everything in His perfect timing.
It would almost come off as anti-Semitic if I hadn't crossed that gun line so far to say, hey, I have to go and ensure that I'm hiring the brightest black minds to my black-owned tech company. Kamala is our never again. We're never gonna just hand something over just because we like the way this person looks, and we have the emotional connection because she was a Delta and my mom was a Delta. She got 90.
Alright, so I don't want to go too deep into this subject because it's a whole nother topic. It would be a whole nother video pretty much. But another problem that we have is a lot of our people are getting into these Greek fraternities and sororities, and that's not something our people should be doing. I mean, our culture is Hebrew, so why are we in Greek fraternities? A lot of our people may or may not know this, but you're making a covenant with evil spirits when you do that. Making a covenant with Satan, and a lot of times it causes a lot of problems in the bloodline. And again, with those type of things, you have to do rituals, you have to keep secrets. The Most High is not in that. He's not with that at all. That's not something that we should be doing. I'm not telling anybody what to do, but if you don't know, it's not something that we should be doing. And I'm also not saying that if you were involved in those things and you repented and you went to the Most High about it and you ask for forgiveness and things of that nature. I'm not saying he won't forgive you. Of course, he can forgive who he wants to forgive, but if it's something you're actively in, it's not something that is of the Most High. And I know a lot of times people who are in those type of things, they are rewarded financially and as far as good jobs and things of that nature. And that's why it's probably hard for a lot of people to leave. But yeah, Satan can reward people too. I mean, that's what Hollywood and all that stuff is about. So again, it's not of the Most High. This is not a video for that, but most people already know this, because there's other people that have put a lot of stuff out about it. But those Greek fraternities are really hurting our people.
86% of the black female vote. You would have thought Drake was running, and we haven't seen her really honestly since. And I want to say something about the left. The left, you guys got to sit with me. Your current administration that these guys put up, they shit the pot on this one. They should have got Bernie, but Bernie had too much of a conscience, and so you got a guy with no conscience. Instead of getting Bernie Sanders, you guys got Weekend at Bernie's. And and that you don't like where we're at right now. So we got to have a conversation going in.
When you listen, I won't disagree with you about. I don't disagree with you about President Biden or Kamala Harris for that matter. Let me ask you about someone we haven't mentioned, Vladimir Putin, and what he's been doing in Ukraine. What is your view of that?
I do not believe in war, and I believe that there is ways that America could have avoided this war. But Biden has money. Biden has reasons for us to be at war right now for selfish reasons. And what I would like to do, without giving you too much information, I would like to speak with my political advisors to give you the exact information. I'm not gonna, hey, watch this one, Piers. I'm not gonna shoot from the hip on this one, especially talk.
Alright, so we see this is towards the end of the interview. You see the guy Piers Morgan left the trap for him to see if Kanye would bite and pretty much say some things that would get him in more trouble. But I'm glad Kanye caught on to it, and he didn't go deep into anything about how he truly feels. I mean, I don't know how he truly feels about it, but I'm just glad he didn't get tripped up on that. But yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, I pray that Kanye really is trying to seek the Most High, but you never know with these celebrities. I mean, sometimes they're double agents, sometimes they're playing both sides. I will say, I mean, since he's lost a lot of that money, that typically is a step that you are doing something right when they're starting to take things from you. But we'll see, because I mean, at the end of the day, he admitted to selling his soul, so that means that the devil gave him that money anyway. So if he's truly trying to follow the Most High, he's gonna have to lose all that anyway. So I mean, all we can do is just see what happens, but we shouldn't, put our trust in any man, because man will let you down every time. But when it comes to these celebrities especially, I mean, you can't really trust what's coming out of their mouth a lot of the time, because they have evil ties, to the devil and high-ranking demons and things of that nature. But Kanye hasn't speaking a lot of truth, so again, I pray everything is well with him, but I would not be surprised if they try to remove him, because he is speaking a lot of truth. So I mean, regardless of what people may think of him, he is speaking a lot of truth, and it does take a lot of courage. Don't get me wrong, he has done a lot of things in the past that were not right. He's done a lot of blasphemous things. He's written his own Bible, which is completely blasphemous, and he should, just like he did a lot of those things in the open. He's done other things too, but I don't want to, go down the list of all the things he's done. Of course, we've all done wrong, but he's been deep into that game, deep into that industry. So, like he did those things openly, he should come out and denounce those things openly, and let the people know that he was wrong for that. But again, that's between him and the Most High. The Most High can forgive if he wants to forgive. I do believe, the Most High is using him, because the Most High can use who He wants to use. You know, 'cause a lot of things He's saying are true, but that doesn't mean that He's gonna, you know, completely turn his life around and follow the Most High. Only time will tell. But I mean, it's good that he put it out, because a lot of our people only want to listen to celebrities, and that's not a good thing. Of course, that's a lot of our people struggle with idol worship. So when the celebrity says something, it's like they take it more serious. But you know, if it wakes people up, that's really all that matters. That's why a lot of us have to use different clips and things that celebrities are talking about, because that's what a lot of our people are interested in. So I mean, at the end of the day, as long as, you know, he's speaking the truth, I mean, like I said, I'll continue to say the Most High can use whoever He wants to use. So I'm gonna leave it at that.
Would that make sense to you, Piers?
You know what, Ye? If you'd simply said that in your tweet, I don't think there would have been any problem. And I'm very, very pleased, actually, that we've got to a place where you felt able to say that. And I think it was sincere. And
but we still have a problem. That's my point.
No,
Piers.
I get it. But what you've now done, you've now explained the context of the problem. And you also issued a sincere apology to people who were rightly offended by the way you phrased what you said. So I think that's a good place to finish the interview. And I'm very glad you got there.
Okay, but it's not finished.
I understand.
The idea is not finished.
I understand.
That there's still a problem.
I understand. No one's going to be in any doubt there's a problem. And by the way, I'm sure there is. I'm sure that a lot of the contracts in the music business are rigged against people like artists like yourself. I'm sure of it. It's always been the case. From Elvis onwards. So I get
Piers,
it.
would you help me and my people? Would you help me and my athletes? I got so many athletes that go to my school that are like all the guys that are on Donda are headed to the NBA, right? Could you?
All right, so this is one of our problems right here. As black men, nobody's gonna come save us. We gotta do the work ourselves. Again, that starts with putting God first and following Christ and getting back to following the commandments. And as good as a businessman and musician and all the other talents that Kanye has, he's still looking to the other nations of people to help him with all the influence that he has, and that's not going to happen.
Make these contracts better for our people by calling attention, by just allowing me on your platform, right? And let's look at some of the things and point these things out. Could we work together on
Absolutely
that over the next
happy
couple of years?
Very happy to do that.
Yeah.
Very happy to.
Alright, so that's pretty much the end of it. I'm going to stop it there. But overall, it's definitely a good interview. Again, I have no idea if Kanye is really going to, you know, turn his life around and follow the Most High, or if he's just doing it for publicity or whatever the case is. But the fact remains that there are things that he said that was true, and hopefully, you know, it can help wake some of our people up. But you know, he's in that industry and it's very hard to get out. And throughout this interview, you know, he made it clear he still talks to Trump and Elon Musk, and I'm sure he's still around. Very powerful people. So at the end of the day, I mean, he has to completely remove himself from that environment if he really wants to follow the Most High. So yeah, I just hope he's careful. I mean, they're already taking his resources, so you know, Hollywood is known for sacrificing people. I hope that's not the case with him. He should be very careful though. I mean, again, I hope this does not happen, but I would not be surprised if they did remove him, just because of some of the things he's saying. I'm sure they look at him as a liability. But of course, I hope he does not lose his life. I hope, you know, he gives his life to the Most High, and you know, go from there. But regardless of what people think of him, some of the things that he is saying does take a lot of courage, and you can see that about 99% of other celebrities will not say certain things that he says. So gotta give him some credit for that. But But I'm gonna pretty much end it there. And as always, at the end of the day, the Lord is always in control, and He will always have the final word. I'm out. Peace.